With us, the Louisville Metro Snow Team isn't taking any chances. They're reporting to work at 2 a.m. It'll be out monitoring tonight high-risk areas, bridge decks, overpasses, hilly roadways, and other elevated surfaces which typically freeze, like the Gene Snyder Freeway, before other surfaces. If necessary, crews will spot treat those areas to keep roads in safe driving conditions for you for the morning. Now, you can follow the system overnight, download the WHAS11 app, and remember to sign up for our weather alerts and updates. We'll send them right to your cell phone. More local news tonight. A house fire happening in Buel tonight. The call came in at 4:30 this afternoon on Beargrass Avenue. That's just off Bardstown Road. 2 women were inside that house. One of them is in critical condition tonight. One woman was saved by a former Shelby County volunteer firefighter who lives right down the street. WHS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Aspen Hester were on the scene talking to that hero. Taylor?
Doug, neighbors say everyone looks out for one another on this street, but today it was hard for them to see flames overtake their neighbor's home. One of them sprung into action, putting fire gear on to save a woman's life.
You can see after the intense blaze, the front door of this Buel home is destroyed by flames. Those flames also coming out the front and right into the roof line. Neighbors saw the billowing smoke and jumped into action. A mother and daughter were still inside the burning home.
We heard her talking, so I busted out the AC unit and then helped her get out the window and busted out the rest of the windows.
One of the rescuers, a hero, living just a few houses down, Jacoby Barnes, went inside the burning home and was able to save one woman. She was not hurt, but the other woman was seriously hurt. Barnes is a former Shelby County volunteer firefighter who hasn't worked a fire in over 3 years, but Friday afternoon he dusted off his gear and boots.
We grabbed it out the house because we got to take it home, and I volunteered. And I just put it on and knew what to do from there.
Barnes and his mother, Connie, were coming home when they saw the fire.
I think another neighbor was calling while we was knocking and banging and trying to get the person out.
Fern Creek, Louisville, Jeffersontown, and Oklahoma fire departments all assisted with the fire, putting it out in 30 minutes.
It's still under investigation, but obviously, and I don't want to point to any particular direction, but when it gets cold like this, space heaters are oftentimes a cause of fire.
A significant amount of fire, smoke, and water damage are now left inside. And as for Barnes, it has him heading back to the fire department.
Definitely going back.
He and his mother are just praying their neighbor has a full recovery.
It didn't matter if I knew him or not. It's a life you're trying to save.
And at this time, it's not clear what caused the fire, but Louisville's fire department's arson unit is investigating. In studio, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Well, we're clearly lucky he's going back to the fire service. Thank you, Taylor. We're also following the developments in Bardstown, Kentucky closely. In the Crystal Rogers case, the man who was first charged in connection with her disappearance appeared in court again today. Joseph Lawson is charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. Lawson appeared via Zoom because he's confined to a wheelchair. Today, attorneys for both sides agreed to delay discussions over Lawson's bond until his next court date on February 8th. That's the same day Brooks Houck is due back in court. Lawson's attorneys have asked his bond be reduced from $500,000 down to $50,000, citing that he's not a flight risk because he is partially paralyzed. Attorneys also say they expect to set a trial date for Lawson when he's back before a judge next month. And tonight we are honoring the 150 lives lost in 2023 to senseless violence across our city, as advocates, leaders, and families of victims alike came together to memorialize the loss. WHS 11 Night Team's Connor Steffen is showing us why they're also hopeful for change in this new year.
Looking ahead to the new year.
Unfortunately, we're gathered here tonight for New Year's startup.
By remembering those we lost in 2023.
You know, people are hurting, man.
There is a overwhelming feeling of emptiness for our family.
For the many gathered at Bates Memorial Baptist Church, bogged down by indescribable grief.
So to lose him so tragically, it's pretty hard.
They're reading off one by one of the names of all 150 people we lost to homicides last year. Was as somber as it was a sign of resilience.
That's unacceptable. We can and we have to do better. Yes, that is definitely worthy of applause.
In the crowd, anti-violence advocates and families like Jeremiah Echo Buckners, who became second-hand victims of gun violence after someone shot and killed Echo last January.
My brother was a warrior, and so when we come here today, we come here with a level of strength.
2023 brought with it 7 fewer homicides than 2022. Compared to 2021, homicides have dropped by 16%.
But let me be clear, it is not going down fast enough.
Among the support for law enforcement was a note of criticism from this mom, Nayshan Tribute, who lost her son in July. She says after her experience with LMPD's homicide unit, there needs to be better communication going forward.
And my sergeant said that, if you want the specific information about your son, you're going to have to fill out an open records request.
A reminder of the ongoing struggles.
So you want me to open up a whole can of worms for what I done already went through with my son?
And willingness to learn and grow from them.
Just remember there's life after death.
As the light of those lost still shines. And our city hopes to rise up together in the year ahead. In Louisville, Connor Staff and the WHAS11 night team on your side.
Some of these cases do remain unsolved. If you have any tips that can help detectives, you can call police anonymously. The tip line 574 LMPD. You can also use their online portal. More local news tonight. Police in Clarksville, Indiana are investigating after a shooting happened earlier tonight there in Clarksville. Police say they responded to the shooting at 5:30 on Montgomery Avenue. When officers arrived, they found 2 men suffering gunshot wounds. Both were taken to Louisville for treatment. Their conditions are currently unknown. Police say they do believe this is an isolated incident in Clarksville and that there is no threat to the public. All new on the WHAS 11 night team. Louisville has announced 2 will take over medical services for Metro Corrections, the jail, after ending its partnership with a company called WellPath. According to a public notice, Metro government intends to award the contract to Tennessee-based Yes Care. Other companies that bid on the contract will have a chance to submit a formal proposal through Monday. Now, the city announced back in April that it would be ending its contract with WellPath. The company oversaw health care at the jail during a sharp spike in deaths at the facility, which led to criticism from jail reform advocates. Details about Yes Care's bid were not available on the Metro Government Procurement Portal website. A new bill filed in the Kentucky legislature is aiming to decriminalize possession of marijuana if you're caught with it. The bill from Louisville Representative, the Democrat, Nima Kilcarney, would exempt Kentuckians from being prosecuted for having up to 1 ounce of marijuana. Kilcarney filed similar legislation about this last year. Supporters we talked with today say it's long past due for this to happen.
I know a couple people who haven't necessarily been arrested for it, but it'll just show up on their record, and then whenever they go to get a job or do certain things, it'll stop them from doing that, And I feel like it's such a small thing that it shouldn't really hold you back in life.
The bill in Frankfort, though, has a long road ahead before it would possibly pass. Republican leaders have previously voiced their opposition against legalizing marijuana for personal use, even with the legalization of medical marijuana. The majority leader of the Kentucky Senate, Republican Damon Thayer, touched on that when he voted yes for medical marijuana last session.
I grew up in the 1980s during a very strong anti-drug culture. If you're a pot smoker and you're looking for me to help get the camel's nose under the tent so you can smoke your pot legally in Kentucky, I'm not your guy.
But back in 2019, the Jefferson County Attorney's Office stopped prosecuting marijuana possession for 1 ounce or less in Metro Louisville. At the time, the county attorney, Mike O'Connell, said not prosecuting this offense would free up his office to prosecute more serious and potentially deadly crimes.